Donald Trump has everyone talking about everything said by Donald Trump. The bombastic GOP POTUS poll leader loves to throw verbal bombs and then backtrack or seek to better explain himself. So his recent comments about keeping all Muslims out of America got the desired effect. But even Trump backers have to admit he once again sought to explain himself in a terrible fashion, suggesting something that strikes at the heart of what America was founded upon and would never slide by the U.S. Supreme Court. But is he on what is the right track when one considers the current war with radical Islam? Let's dig in with the veteran political commentator and co-author of the book Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, Dick Morris. All right, Dick, pleasure to talk to you again. And your recent column entitled Keep Terrorists Out used a lot of the words that I pointed to here. Repugnant to the Constitution. We can't have a religious test for would-be immigrants. So did Trump did he let his mouth go a little too far, basically getting the right idea for a country at war, but just go a little too far?
Well, I don't think it's a question of too far. I think that he used the wrong policy to achieve the right objective. I agree with keeping most Muslims out of the United States, and so do about 40% of the American people and about 2/3 of the Republicans. But you can't do it based on a religious test. It won't pass muster. You've got to have a secular way of doing it. And the State Department gives us a wonderful way, which is they have a list of countries that sponsor terrorism. At the moment, there are only 3: Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. Syria, Iran, and Yemen. But Cuba has just been deleted, and Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and a bunch of other countries used to be on it. The State Department also used to have, I think Obama discontinued it, a list of countries where a significant part of the territory is controlled by Muslims. We need to resurrect that list and then ban immigration from those countries. Only about 20% of the globe's Muslim population lives in the Middle East. The other 3/4 live in Nigeria or Africa or Bangladesh, Philippines, Indonesia, countries which really are not normally associated with terrorism. So if we restricted immigration from those countries that either harbor terrorists consciously, or like Saudi Arabia or Iraq, a large portion of their territory is under the control of terrorists, that would be approved by the Supreme Court. It is not repugnant to American values and would achieve Mr. Trump's purpose.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about polls. Geez, my goodness, we're going to talk about polls and numbers. Stunning. We got about 90 seconds to go. Latest joint CBS News New York Times poll, Trump 35%, Ted Cruz 16%. The data collected before Trump made his comments about foreign Muslims entering the United States. Dick, do you think that will hurt or help, and the next poll will reflect any difference whatsoever?
I think it'll help Trump. I think that most voters in the Republican process agree with at least his objective. But I think that what's interesting about that to me is that, in effect, there are going to be 2 political parties competing for the nomination, the Trumps and the non-Trumps. And there's kind of an elimination process going on among Rubio, Carson, and Cruz to become the non-Trump, the un-Trump. And Carson's kind of falling out of it, and it'll be between Rubio and Cruz. And then whoever wins that contest will get the roughly 3/4 of the vote of people who do, or 2/3 of the vote of Republicans who do not vote for Trump. When you walk into a voting booth, the first thing you ask yourself is, am I going to vote for Trump or not? And till now, the nots have been divided 14 ways. It'll be a little different when there are only 2 ways. But let me say this. It is well within the bounds of possibility that Trump wins this nomination. It would be wrong to discount him. And let me say something else. If he won the nomination, he would win. All of those voices that are saying he'd turn off the middle are getting it wrong. What he would do is excite and animate the base in a way that I think Cruz also could.
And we still have a long way to go. We're going to keep saying that almost right up to Iowa, and then probably even after that. Let's remind everybody, don't forget the perfect holiday gift. Get a copy of Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Learn a little bit more about this by going to powergrab411.com. Dick Morris, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk to you again real soon. Stay with us. The fastest 60 minutes of news, The Hard Line, continues.